All right, welcome to Talk-Jitsu with host Uki Mike, Joy Boretski, and me, Jordan Preisinger from Jordan Teaches Jiujitsu. We've got a great episode for you guys today. And just before we start, guys, I just want to say one thing that I was kind of worried last time about talking about, saying maybe older grapplers make excuses for themselves. I was really worried about that. I thought about even taking it out because I don't want people to misconstrue it. And I just want to clarify that, all I'm saying is that age isn't a factor in protecting your head from being grabbed and keeping your elbows tight to prevent underhooks. I mean, defensively, I think that, people can, still be defensively sound. I think the offense is a little different because then athleticism can definitely matter. So that's all I meant from that. So I don't want to make anyone mad. So I just want to say that right out the bat. So we've got really great news for everyone and especially Joey. So Joey, let's talk about it. Let's go.
You want me to drop the ball?
Yeah.
All right. So, the big news is basically I've quit my job teaching jiu-jitsu and I'm opening my own gym, which is going to be a Limitless in Edmonton, Alberta.
Yay. Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So awesome. He's going to be our my first ever Limitless affiliate. And who better to do it than Joey? It's going to be Limitless Edmonton. So yeah, keep going, Joey. Tell us all about it.
No, I'm pretty excited. I don't know how much detail we want to get into about how it all happened, but really just I wasn't happy where I was. I think being at a gym that was as awesome as Limitless, and I know you and I see really eye to eye on a lot of issues membership contracts and just the way people should be treated and the way jiu-jitsu should be taught. I know one of the feedback we get on this podcast a lot is that we agree too much, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we just really have really similar values and ethics about how a gym should be run, and moving to somewhere in a system that wasn't that way, I just didn't feel comfortable. I wasn't happy with it. I didn't feel like I could give my best to the students. So I decided I'll just do it the right way.
Exactly. And it worked out great because this is kind of like a weird, small world type of thing. But my cousin owns Taekwondo schools in Edmonton, and she was looking for a jiu-jitsu instructor. And she asked me a couple of years ago if I knew anyone, and I didn't know anyone really at the time. And then, Joey's there. And then I thought, well, Joey wants to open up his own gym. They need a jiu-jitsu instructor. They know what they're doing. They have a great, thing going with Taekwondo. So I linked them up, and it worked out so great. It's so strange, it's really cool that the Limitless Edmonton is going to be in my cousin's gym. That's just so random. I never met her in real life though. So we're not we're not close. I don't mean we're not close. It's just I've just never met her, but she seems really nice. And I'm glad it worked out for you guys.
No, it's I'm not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Go.
How do you think your curriculum will be different from how it was?
I'm looking to do something really similar to what Limitless in Trenton has. One thing I always loved about Limitless in Trenton is that we do 3 days of gi and 3 days of no gi. It's a perfect balance. Jordan and I really agree on a teaching philosophy, and that it shouldn't just be a ton of technique, just bombarding students with mindless zero resistance repetitions of a technique that I've shown. I'm a big fan on practicing things in live situations, gamifying things, and rolling. Obviously, rolling is the most important part.
Yeah, I think that me and you have a very modern mindset when it comes to jiu-jitsu, and not just the way it should be taught, but just the culture too, because, old school jiu-jitsu, it's not just the techniques themselves, it's the whole mentality, and it's the whole, just the culture of it. And, I don't want to talk shit about old culture and whatnot, but there are a lot of bad things, in my opinion, that stem from that, so I really like, the modern approach. I think more and more people are gearing towards that. So yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah.
Well, for the people who have no idea what old school jiu-jitsu is like, how would you sum it up? How would the both of you sum it up if you had to? If somebody just joined jiu-jitsu at a modern jiu-jitsu gym 2 years ago, how would you explain old school jiu-jitsu to them in a nutshell?
Yeah, so I'll give one example. We had a guy come this week. He's visiting for 2 weeks, and he just loves our gym. He said he's never been to a gym like ours because we roll hard, but we're still nice, and we don't we don't have egos and all that kind of stuff. And that's the way it should be. I like rolling hard, and not like excessively, but I like rolling hard, and like, but at the same time, we're not out to hurt each other. And some gyms are kind of just like that, but like, I don't really mean that necessarily for old school, but he made a great point. Like, he was talking about other gyms, and he's saying that he got yelled at a gym before because he didn't tie his belt facing the wall. And I think that's just like, and I made a YouTube video on that. I commented on it about that, and some people were shocked. They're like, I've never heard about that, because they belong to more modern of gyms. But I would sum up like in a few words, an old school gym being very like controlling, like you owe them something because they're teaching you. And you could argue that was the case before, because there was such a student coach dynamic before that was like, you can't learn jiu-jitsu elsewhere. But like now, they're online and everything that's available to grapplers now, it's just I don't think we have that same importance of lineage and stuff like that. It's just my own opinion. But yeah, I feel like old school jiu-jitsu, they have a lot of rules, and they try to kind of own you, and not let you do what you want to do. And then stuff like, not rolling much and stuff like that. Just, yeah. What's your experience been with like old school jiu-jitsu, Joey?
I think like you kind of nailed it. Like, to me, when I think of it's a lot like you're going to do what the guy in charge says to do when he says to do it. You're not going to deviate from what he says. You're just going to blindly listen and repeat after him. And he's just going to show you exactly what he was shown, the same way he was shown it. And you're going to do the same format that they've been doing for the last 30, 40 years. No innovation, because that's how he was shown. And that's what you have to do, because that's, if your professor learned this way, well, you have to learn this way. And I think that's just a really archaic way to do things. I mean, I think part of the reason you and I adapt so many of these modern approaches is because we tend to be pretty open-minded people. And just because something worked for 20, 30, 40 years doesn't mean it can't be better. And I know, like me, and I'm pretty sure you, because, we've had a lot of conversations about this. We're both willing if someone says like, hey, I think this is a better way to do things. Like, all right, let's try it and see if it works. And if it doesn't, we won't do it. If it does, we'll keep doing it,
Yeah, I 100% agree. And this kind of brings me to like almost like a different topic, but it's still very similar, because I was talking to one of my friends, Travis from Elbows Tight. We are talking about, concepts versus techniques. And I also put that video out on the passing video. I put like concepts beat techniques, and there's truth to that. But at the same time, I think there's not. I think it's a little misleading, just because I think what techniques are just grip sequences. And they're like the how to do something, and then the fun, like the concepts are the why you do something, right? So I think that a lot of old school people or poor instructors, they kind of just do things the way they've been told. And yeah, like the way they've been told to do it, that might be a way of doing it. But like, there's different ways of gripping and different ways of doing things. But when it comes to the concepts, they're more so universal truths. But people act sometimes like techniques are universal truths, so you have to grab here or there, but not necessarily. There's a lot of places you can grab and grip, as long as you're conceptually doing things right. So I think that's the difference between concepts and techniques. And there's a time and place for both, because people need to understand the why to do things, but they also need to be shown how to. But at the same time, they shouldn't be like told the tunnel vision, like this is how you do it and there's no other way. It's like, there are other ways, but conceptually, this is why and how. So you can form your own kind of, places to grip and stuff like that, almost like your own techniques, as long as you're conceptually sound. So that's something I found really interesting. And I don't think that many people teach concepts out there. Like when they teach, they don't really teach the why, or it's more specific to like a technique approach always. So yeah, I'm really trying to give concepts out there to people. But yeah, I agree. I think that old school people, they're kind of more set in their ways, which makes sense, just like just in general, like I think with any sport or any activity, like the old school people, like they're set in their ways. They do it the way they do it. And then, with the internet is becoming, well, not becoming popular. It is so popular, but with the internet, it's really showing people that there's different ways of doing things. So yeah, that's what I would say.
And you didn't really have excuse me, you didn't have a choice back then. There wasn't like 3 jiu-jitsu schools in every city, correct?
Yeah. So for example, like the first gym I went to, it was the only gym in Trenton, but now we're the only gym in Trenton. So I guess it's kind of similar, but like, for example, I remember being told, and I've told this on the podcast before, I remember being told that the body triangle from the back is wrong. You shouldn't do it. It's wrong. And, that was like the old school mentality because, hooks are better. That's Brazilian jiu-jitsu. The modern thing is body triangles, but like, body triangles are great. They're really good. They're, it's extremely hard to get out of it. So, that's just a great example of that mentality. And, for sure, there's so many jiu-jitsu schools popping up here and there that like, it's great because if someone's going to switch gyms, it's okay. It's fine. Like, it doesn't need to be like an ego problem for the person that the gym is leaving. It can be because like, if someone leaves my gym, my thoughts are, why did they leave? Is my product not good enough? Is it better? Or is the product better somewhere else? Right. And first of all, this hasn't really happened. So I'm thankful for that. But like, that would be my mentality for sure. But also, people, they vibe at different gyms. People want different things. Some people like the old school stuff. Some people like being told what to do. And, almost like, this sounds weird, but I swear some people like that mentality, almost like being controlled. It's kind of strange. Like, but that's what I've found over the years. Some people just like that old school stuff, and that's fine with me. It's whatever. I like the more new school approach. So I like that there's different options. And I think there's a place for both of them. If you want that traditional, like, you get yelled at if you do something wrong, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I like how we have it here. It's pretty chill. We have respect for each other. We bow in and out of class and shake hands and stuff like that. But it's not like we have to bow to a pitcher or, if I call you Jordan, I don't getting shit for not calling you professor or sir or whatever. Back in the day when I took jiu-jitsu in the 90s, we used to have to call him like what Japanese for master. I think it's Shihan. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm never calling anyone master.
No,
that's never going to happen.
That.
Doesn't matter how much I like them or respect them. I'm not calling them master, and I would never want someone to call me master. That's the thing. It's like, I don't take myself too serious, and I don't have like people might, maybe some people think I have an ego, but like overall it's pretty good. I think I'm not like that kind of guy. Like, and I think one reason why people go, they don't like, they're not like, we have a good gym culture is because, and this is what I think, maybe I'm wrong, but because I can kind of beat everyone up and I'm not a dick. So like, how can someone be a dick because they're going to get beat up by me? It just doesn't make sense. Right. But if you're an instructor and you can beat everyone up and you are a dick, well, there's going to be other dicks out there in your student pool that are going to be, not nice to other people. So I think that it's very important for the instructor to, be a good person and like obviously, but, and not have like an ego like that. So, but like a lot of old school people do have that ego more so because like, that's what they came up in, like that's the way it was. And lineage was so important. It's like, I got my belt from this guy and, this guy, he's not friends with your school guy. So now we hate each other. Right. Yeah. But it's like, we all do jiu-jitsu. We're all just enjoying the sport. So, I think I do a good job of like cutting through the bullshit and like that kind of stuff just is not like, that's not cool. We can all just train. It's just whatever. So, I'm really glad that you're going to have, Limitless in Edmonton because we do see so eye to eye. So it's not like, I have to worry about at all my image or my brand or anything like that. It's like, I know it's in good hands because, like I said, we agree on so much. And so when are you going to open up?
So we're hoping our first like official class will be April 15th. This podcast should drop on March 15th, I think. So basically a month after this comes out, just to give us some time to like market stuff, do renovations on the space and make it look the way we want. We're really trying to mimic the look of the Limitless Trenton too. So that, consistency of like the appearance of the brand, like, we see eye to eye on a lot of the other things like teaching and how people should be treated. But obviously like you don't want to be associated with a gym that looks like shit. So we're going to make it look nice. We're going to, same paint color scheme, wall mats, all that jazz. Like the room's going to be sharpened up. We're actually going to get floor mats. It has like puzzle mats in there now, but we just want to make it look a little more professional and we're going to yank those out. And we've got some floor mats coming in on the way. It's a bit of an investment for anyone buying mats, man. Those things aren't cheap.
They're very expensive. And sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say that like, I let Joey, I'm going to let him do whatever he wants. It's his school and everything, but I'm really happy with him that he's, taking the approach of making it look like Limitless, like the Limitless here. And because it's important to me to have like an artistic look to the gym and in the Limitless brand, just because that's what I like. I like making stuff look nice, you know? So like the YouTube channel is kind of like that. That's why I wanted to get a good camera and get better at editing and stuff like that, because, you know, I just like things that look nice. I like things that are aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, when Joey said he was going to make it look like Limitless, like he didn't have to, but you know, when he said that, I was super happy about that. I'm like, that's awesome. So yeah, I really like that you're doing that, Joey.
No, and that's something I wanted to do. Like, I like the look of Limitless, obviously. Like, I was there for what, like 7 years. I'm a big fan of it, and I think people liked it too. It looked clean. It looks good. The color scheme is great. The logos, the art. Like, I really vibe with all of it. And obviously, like, it's going to have my own personal spin on it and stuff. Like, it's not going to be, you know, inch for inch like the exact same, but it's going to be aesthetically really close and thematically really close. So I think, you know, if people from Trenton were to come out to Edmonton, what Paige, my wife, and I decided we wanted to do is have it feel like anyone who came from Trenton to here would feel like it was like just literally an extension of the same place.
Exactly. And if you get people, you know, that listen to the podcast or watch the YouTube channel, if they you know, they sign up at your gym, and I'm sure some will, it's going to be a cool experience for them, because it's going to be like, you know, I've seen this before, like similar at least, but online. So, but definitely we got to get your actual gym on YouTube. So what we should do is definitely bring me in for a seminar soon, and we'll take some videos and stuff like that and really promote you know, your new gym too. And, yeah, I just think it's super exciting. So yeah, I'm super happy for you, because, you know, for a lot of reasons, but you know, you definitely deserve to, you know, do what you love for a living. It's a pretty awesome thing to do. Like, it's just, you know, I couldn't be more lucky, I feel like, to be able to do this, even though I get stressed out like a lot, and, you know, and just like tired and stuff like that. But overall, it's like, how can I complain, you know, because I know anything else I'd be doing, you know, I wouldn't be enjoying. So yeah, it's like, it's really good for you for sure.
It's amazing to be able to make a living off of something that you love.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to bring up a point. This is a funny story, I think, that, you know, because the gym is clean now. You know, the gym looks nice. It's always, you know, and Mike does a great job cleaning it. We always make sure we're on top of that. But, you know, in the past, when I first started the gym, it wasn't so much the case. Not that we were like, you know, dirty. Like, the mats are always clean and stuff like that. But it's like, I remember I just didn't do a good job of, like, you know, getting the spider webs down.
Spiders.
Yeah,
I remember spiders.
Yeah, and I remember the spiders would poop on the mats. Like, seriously, you see much spider crap on the mats, and you know, 100% that's my fault. I should have, like, you know, been on top of that, and that's really nasty. But it was like the, you know, like the edge of the mat where no one really rolled or whatever. But, you know, it was like we didn't really sweep much either, and but guys, we gotta understand, this is like when I was first, you know, starting in gym or whatever, and I was much younger, much dumber, and much like didn't really care about that as much. But yeah, I remember this one time we got an email from someone that quit because they said the gym was too gross, because like yeah, because, well, like, we never swept whatever, so you get like big like hair balls everywhere or whatever. And yeah, it was gross, 100%. Like, I'm not saying that it was cool at all, it was awful. But I remember, but what really tipped her over the edge was, and she was like a ladies only like kickboxer. So I should have, you know, I should have known that obviously they're going to have a higher standard than just like young people that are like, whatever, I'll put up with it. But like, you know, I remember she emailed me, and one of her big gripes was that I rang my shirt out like my rash guard out on the mat, and just like, you know, sweat everywhere. And I thought it was funny. That's why I did it. It's like, look how much I sweat or whatever. But then, you know, she didn't think it was funny, even though obviously, you know, we clean the mats after. And again, the mats being clean was never an issue. We always clean them, other than the spider poop at the edge. You know what I mean? Like, we still cleaned it, but it just wouldn't come off. And yeah, I remember like the bathroom looked like I don't know. It just looked awful. It looked like, you know, super ghetto. So, you know, I remember like the light wasn't working, so I put a lamp in there, and, you know, I just was super lazy and dumb. But, you know, it's much different now.
Is that the old spot that's across from the motorcycle club?
Yeah, and that's the thing too now. Yeah, guys, it's not the gym I'm at now. Like, we moved gyms so many times, and this is actually, we might as well talk about this because I don't think we have too much. So the way it happened was I started a grappling program at a CrossFit gym I was at, and that was 67 Dufferin. So it was a small unit, and we just put the mats out. You know, we just put the mats out like every night that we train, which is only 2 days a week. But they were moving to 99 Dufferin, which we're at now. We have the whole thing, but but we moved, like they were moving there, we moved there too with them, but we only got 400 square feet from them, so not very much. So what we did was move to a different gym, like a fitness gym, which was pretty good. It was like 900 square feet, and it was pretty cool because it had like a hot tub and a pool, change rooms and stuff like that. But like 900 square feet just didn't end up being enough for how much we grew. And then well, because CrossFit moved from the 67 Dufferin to 99 Dufferin, 67 Dufferin was available. So the spot we had rented out from them, just like, and just put mats out. Well, now we had the whole thing. So we spent time there for like maybe 2 years. And that was like the best learning experience for me to be able to run a gym. And then we moved to a place, was 133 Highway 33. And that's when I really became way more professional and, and realizing, I need to take this more serious and that's when I also went full time. That was right before COVID too, which was really bad timing. But then CrossFit went out of business because of COVID, and 99 Dufferin was available, which was huge, which is the space we're at now. And so we took that over, and it kind of like came full circle. So we're at the gym we're at now. Like we've been so many different places, and it's really cool because I remember thinking at the time when we were here, but only in a small space, I was like, I would love to have a space this big, but it just seemed like it was like impossible, even though I still knew one day we would, but like it just seemed like really far out of reach. So it's so cool to have it now. And then there was a physio place in the front unit, and they left, so we took over there. And now that's where, like, I don't know if anyone's seen my Instagram. There's like a cool dragon on the wall, or listen to the story, and that's where the podcast is too. Like that's where we're at now, which is super convenient because now we have fiber internet. Like we have fiber internet here at my house. All we had was Starlink, and it was the RV version, which is terrible. It's not good. The regular version is probably decent, but the RV version is not good. And before that, we had ExploreNet, which is even worse. Fucking dog shit. It's not even usable. Yeah. It's like the most frustrating experience of your life is trying to run a YouTube channel when you have wireless internet, and it's just terrible. You can't do anything. And that was a huge struggle. So, even when we were at my house with Starlink, it was kind of hard to talk to people because, there'd be like delays and stuff like that. And now we got fiber here. So now it's pretty much real time. So it makes it a lot easier. Now it's not as awkward or whatever because someone told us we were awkward. But yeah, we're also just getting more comfortable. Yeah. Because it takes time to get good at something like that. People don't want to go through being bad at something to get good at it. But like, we weren't great at podcasting, but we're decent now.
We were white belts at podcasting.
Yeah, we're willing to go through it. We're willing to go through sucking. And I don't know if I talked about this, but I talked about, I don't know, I'm not sure. I'll say it anyways. So when I was commentating super fights a couple of months ago, I asked the guy if I could, interview the people after in front of the whole crowd. I was so nervous, but I was like, and I knew I was going to be bad at it. I knew that I'm not going to do a good job. I'm going to freeze up and say stupid things, which is exactly what I did. But I was willing to do it anyways, because I knew that the next time I do it, I'm going to be better at it. So, I think people should take that mentality more so, and I'm not perfect. I don't have the perfect mentality all the time, but like, that's one thing I do try to do is like, it's fine if I'm not very good at it now because I'm going to be good at it.
Well, what podcast number is this?
I think it's 13.
13 plus the old ones that we used to do.
Yeah.
So it's taken that long for me to get comfortable. The last podcast was the first one that I felt like I could actually be myself. And today I feel 100% comfortable doing this. So yeah, it took me a long time to get to where I am. So
yeah, we probably podcasted now for like, 25 hours or something like that. Plus like the ones I've done on my own, and you've done some on your own too, Mike. And it just takes time to get good. So yeah.
Actually, I'm going to be on another podcast soon. I'll come out with the details next week. It's a doctor asked me to be on this podcast to talk about my addiction and jiu-jitsu and the whole story. So
that's cool.
When I hear more, I'll let you guys know and tell you when it'll be up.
What podcast is that?
I have to double check. I haven't. That's why I'll give you the details next week. Okay. We haven't finalized anything yet, so I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, that's cool. Support for Talk-Jitsu is brought to you by Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code JTJ at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 14 million balls. So what's your experience been with Manscaped?
Well, I've used probably a half a dozen different name brand products before, and they're terrible. I've cut myself every time. And these are very expensive, very well named brand products. And with Manscaped, I've never cut myself.
Exactly. And you know what I like the most about the Manscaped razor is it has a flashlight on it. And you think
that's the best.
It's amazing. You think that, oh, it's just this like, feature or whatever, but actually it's kind of like, when you experience a light on your razor, it makes you wonder why no other ones have that too, because this is a game changer. You can just see everything so much easier, even if you don't have the perfect lighting. So that was my favorite aspect of it. I was actually shocked how much better it made too, because I was doing my neckline and everything. I was like, I can actually see where the line should be, right? Because there's a light. It's so simple and so smart. So I really like that from Manscaped.
100%. I thought, is this a gimmick? And then I tried it. I was like, no, this is the way. This is the only razor I've ever had that has a light on it, and it really lights the way to shaving your balls.
It does. It makes all the difference. I think a lot of other brands are maybe more towards like your hair or just your beard or something, right? But this is like the full package. So guys, JTJ at checkout, let's go. Let's talk more about the gym, Joey. So like, do you have any like, stress or fears about opening a gym and doing it on your own? Or do you just feel like, you kind of know what to do and know what to expect?
I'd love to say like, I feel like I've got it all under control, no big deal. But like, I'd be lying if I said it's not a little stressful. I mean, it's a big, it's a big step. Like it's starting a business, it's opening a venture. And, like in a way, like my reputation as a jiu-jitsu coach is on the line. Like if I start and I do a shitty job, like that bodes really well or really poorly for me. So, a lot of money is being put in. So like there is the whole, like, my God, like, am I going to make this money back at some point? Like, not that it's all about money to me. Like, I guess I should say for people who are wondering, I gave my notice for my current job on the 1st, out of like fairness. I told my boss what was going to happen. Yesterday, he actually booted me from the gym.
Wow. What happened?
So coincidental, for legal reasons, we'll say completely coincidentally, after I had given my resignation, a bunch of students might have submitted their notice to cancel their memberships. Completely unrelated, I assume. I have no knowledge of this. I've never talked to them about it or anything. But you know how it is, jiu-jitsu gyms, like nothing stays a secret. Like things get around. So yeah, I think he kind of booted me out of there because he was worried people were going to, see what was happening and go one way or another. But I'm really lucky that someone else from the gym, who's a good friend now, had like a business that he needed help with work. So he's been giving me work to like make some extra cash. So I'm not super worried about like, I'm going to go bankrupt if this doesn't make money. It's not a money-making venture for me. I would love for it to eventually be able to sustain me, but it's really like just a passion project. It's, I love teaching and I want to do the best job I can, but I would also like to, not have to wake up at 7 a.m. to do a day job.
Exactly. There's something wrong with making a living. And, just to touch on that, because I know Joey wouldn't be the kind of guy to poach students. Like Joey's an honorable guy, but like, when it comes to that kind of thing, it's like, if the people want to learn from you instead of learn from that gym, what are you going to do? Say no? You know what I mean? It's just that they want more of you. It's just the way it is. And, again, that gym should maybe think why is that, right? Because some of these gyms, they do have really strict like cancellation policies or really strict this or that, or maybe, I'm not saying this case, but sometimes subpar teaching or like not really caring about, their students as much and more thinking about them as money. Again, I'm not saying that that's what it's like, but like just some gyms just don't do a good job. And, people want to be where they feel comfortable in a good atmosphere. And so I never poach anyone ever. Like that never goes through my mind. I'll never convince anyone, but I welcome everyone to open mat, and not for this reason, but if anyone were to, switch, that's on them. It's not me. I'm never going to convince anyone, but if they switch, am I happy to have a new student? Of course. But like, I don't wish, anything negative upon the gym owner they're leaving either. It's just, people are going to go where they want to go. That's just reality. In the same
way you tell your students to go to other gyms, go to other mats, go experience whatever you want to experience. You're not scared to lose students at the same time.
Exactly. Because it is possible that they might like the product better. That's definitely possible. And if it is, well, now they got to see that they liked it better. Right. But like, because some people are like, oh, you can't go to the gyms and this and that, because they do fear that their students are going to leave. But if that's your fear, that's on you. You need to make the gym better 100%. You can't force people to do anything. So I think that's a really clear distinction we need to bring, because someone, people listening, maybe they would be like, oh, Joey's poaching or whatever, but no, definitely not the case. People do what they want. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want. You don't owe anyone anything, and nobody owes you anything. This is like my mentality. I hate feeling like I owe someone something or they owe me something. I just wanted to be like, no, like, it's all good. We can do anything anytime, and there's no pressure for anything. Like, I don't like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And just to clarify to people out there, like, I have not been going around being like, hey, I'm opening my own gym, you should come with me. Before I even decided all of this, like, part of the catalyst for making me want to do this was a couple of students told me, like, and I'm not trying to be boastful, this is just what people told me. Like, I've been training jiu-jitsu for a long time. You're the best coach I've had. I don't like this gym, but I'm here because you're here. And if you ever leave, I'm going where you go. And then it kind of made me think, like, maybe I could, like, open my own thing. And I'm going to try and say this as tactfully as I can without, disparaging people. But if you're a gym owner and you're going to talk shit about students to other students, you're a moron if you don't think that that's going to get back to the people you're talking shit about, because a lot of people in jiu-jitsu gyms are friends. And if you're going to talk shit about people, don't be shocked if they leave.
Yeah, it's really that simple, right? You got to treat people right at all times. So yeah, I think you made the right choice for sure. I think just, it just shows you that you're going to be successful because people do like your classes. When we had, when you were teaching it at our gym here, people liked your classes, and I would never felt like, oh, it's like the B team teacher, like, not, it sounds like I'm talking about Craig Jones and them, but I mean like the B level teacher or anything like that. Like, and people will be like, oh, I just want Jordan or whatever. So, that was always reassuring to me, knowing, because I can put trust in you. So, and I know that you're a great instructor, and I know I am too. So I know, like, I know what to look for. Right. So, and there's a lot of poor instructors out there, and we're not saying we're the best or anything, but, people want good, clear instruction. That's really important to them. And, it's just a good atmosphere and good time. So, just the way it is. And with that said, let's I also want to talk about, we always talk about steroids on the channel, but this has just happened where a bunch of guys got caught cheating with steroids. And before we kind of go into it, I think one thing was interesting. Gordon Ryan has said before that it's not cheating because it's not against the rules. So and I guess in ADCC that might be true, but he did compete in No-Gi Worlds where it is against the rules. So under that definition, it is cheating, and these people are cheating. It's against the rules. So so Mike, do you want to give a backstory, what happened and all that kind of stuff? Because I think you know better than I do.
I don't know a lot about it. I just know that 5 guys got popped for steroids out of competition testing a month after, I can't remember the event. It was the Worlds, No-Gi Worlds. So 4 or 5 guys got popped there. And
they're getting a 3-year ban, I believe, right?
Yeah, 3-year ban. And they got tested a month after the competition. So that means this stuff was still in them. They were still on cycle during the competition for sure. So even if they thought they were going to win, because usually the top guy gets tested, right? The gold medal winner. Yeah. Well, this time a silver medalist got popped as well. So they're testing way, way, way more now. And some of the substance they got caught with don't even make sense really for jiu-jitsu, like trenbolone. It kills your cardio. Why would you want to be on tren when you're doing a cardio sport? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. And what else did this guy take? It sounded like he was taking a whole cocktail. It sounded like tren,
Masteron, I think was the other one. And I think one of them were on EQ.
So what's you might know, like, what is the difference between like these different substances?
Well, tren is about 5 times stronger than pure testosterone. And it's very, very strong, has a lot of side effects, and it's just not good for you. It's horrible for cardio. I don't understand why anybody would take it, but it makes you super jacked and super ripped at the same time. So that's the benefit. It's hard to gain muscle and lean out at the same time. Tren can help with that.
Sorry. So you kind of like stack them, and then you get like even more of an effect.
Yes. If you were taking tren, you would want to take, you would have to take testosterone as well. Same with one of the guys got popped for DECA, and you would need to take testosterone with DECA as well, or certain parts of your body wouldn't function so good.
Yeah, I've heard about DECA, and I guess it can also help your joints too.
Yeah, DECA, it increases the production of synovial fluid, so it allows your joints to be more lubricated, so to speak.
Okay.
So there is health benefits. They do prescribe it, not in Canada, but in the US they do. If you looked at the Liver King when he got exposed, DECA was one of his prescriptions, and I imagine his doctor would have had to justify it by bad joints.
Yeah, I've seen some people on like TRT. They also take a little bit of DECA for their joints, so I found that pretty interesting. And I also find interesting Craig Jones. I saw on Instagram someone said, "Oh, Craig is natty," and he wrote in the comments, he said, "I am not natty." So I thought that was really interesting. Natty meaning natural, for anyone wondering. And then in the Lex Friedman podcast, I didn't watch it yet, but you said, "Oh, can you go over that?"
Well, he had a bunch of the guys from the B team on, and he asked flat out, "Are you on steroids? Have you done steroids?" And he said, "Well, it's not called steroids. I'm over 30. I'm 31. It's TRT now." And then on another podcast or a clip from Instagram of his, he said, "Maybe next time I'm on an interview, I will let everybody know what substances I've taken." Whether he's trolling or not, who knows? Because then it showed a picture of him where he looked kind of out of shape. So he might be trolling. He could be natural. Who knows?
Well, no, I think he's being honest because I mean, he was a really skinny guy before, and he's not like excessively jacked, but like he's pretty jacked compared to what he was. And, I don't want to sound like I'm talking shit about him, but I don't think he's the most athletic physically, so it can be very hard to gain that amount of muscle that he has because he was very, kind of like lacking muscle and stuff like that for a long time. And so, yeah, I don't know. But like, so is like cheating and doing steroids is just in the dosage, I guess. If it's TRT, it's fine.
Geez, I don't know. I think it's fine. Anyway, I think it should be allowed. I've said that before. I think if everybody is privy to the information, I think everybody should be allowed to do it. And then people who don't want to do it, there could be, I don't know. I really don't know how you would do this.
Well, that's my mentality too. Is that like, I think TRT is fine but up to a certain level. If you have like, super physiological, insane levels, that might be excessive. But I think if you're like the high end of normal through TRT, I don't to me, it doesn't sound like it's the end of the world, Well,
that's what Wagner said. He didn't even test. He said, "I'm not testing, fuck off," whatever. Right. And then he came out with his own post saying that he's on TRT because he's 41 years old, I believe.
Yeah. So because could he compete at that level, without TRT? It'd be very difficult. And this is something that, goes through my mind. It's like, everyone's on stuff. Should I go on stuff too? Like, could TRT help me at this point in my life? Like, I am 32, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It seems like, I don't know. I just don't really want to do it. I don't know, but it's something that goes through my mind. But I also don't really want to compete that bad too. But it feels like, if I compete completely naturally, I'm putting myself at a disadvantage. But if I, go on something, I would just, it'd be more of an even playing field. And if I ever were to do something, it would not be like all that crap. It would just be like TRT for sure.
There's a gigantic difference between taking doctor-supervised TRT and being on a cycle of steroids, because when you're on a cycle of steroids, for the most part, people take, allegedly, so I've been told, take massive amounts, or say 4 to 5 times what you might be prescribed. And you're also taking drugs that you would never be prescribed, that are for cattle, for horses and stuff like that. Literally, EQ was made for horses. Winstrol was made for horses.
Yeah, it reminds me of that one COVID drug.
Oh,
yeah, it was something we should talk about for sure.
Well, that'll get taken down.
Not necessarily get taken down. I just know there'd be so many conflicting opinions on in the comments section, but it might get taken down too. But yeah, it's something we should not talk about.
Yeah, Trump 2024.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. So but so when someone gets disqualified, or not disqualified, suspended or banned from events, I guess, can they still do other events?
Yeah,
like non-IBJJF ones.
Yeah, it's just IBJJF that IBJJF ban extends to.
Cyborg just posted a picture with a gigantic medal from, Grappling Industries. He won a tournament just not long ago. Yeah, so must be able to.
I guess my question more so, it's like in the UFC, if you get banned by athletic commission and you go fight somewhere else, they're never going to let you fight again in the athletic commission. So like, that can be risky, right? So now you have to fight outside of the States, and it makes it difficult. So, but I think that, personally, IBJJF is like not the pinnacle of the sport anymore, at least for no-gi. I don't think it ever has been, because ADCC is. But yeah, I think that's it's interesting. Like, they're going to compete, and everyone knows that they're on stuff, but everyone knows everyone's on stuff. But one thing I found interesting, and guys, don't take this as Bible, or don't take this as like a truth, anything like this. But I saw on Reddit people speculating, because I thought there was because I think there's like a younger person that got caught, but they didn't say who it was. So Reddit is speculating that could be Mika Galvao, but I'm not spreading any misinformation or anything. They're just speculating that, right? So I thought that was kind of interesting, because to me, it doesn't seem like he's on anything. It seems like, he doesn't seem super jacked.
I assume everybody's on anything unless tested and told otherwise, other than just because I follow the Ruotolo brothers, and I guess I want to believe they're natural. I don't know. You can't know about anybody, but those two brothers, I really love how they roll. I love all the stuff they do. I want to believe that they're natural.
I think they're natural for sure. I saw someone saying that Oliver Taza is not natural, but I think he is too. They're showing pictures of him. He just looks like an athletic guy. So like, yeah, it's people have all sorts of, like thoughts, and they're not necessarily true. So
people think when you're on TRT, you're going to be all jacked. I'm on TRT. I am not jacked, people. If you are in this room seeing me, I'm normal human being level looking person, and I'm on TRT.
Yeah. Like, you're not like insanely jacked, but for your age, you're definitely looking good. But I mean, that's what it's supposed to do, right? It's not supposed to make you insanely jacked or whatever. So
no, it isn't. It's supposed to put you in a normal physiological range. That's it. Should have a disclaimer that anything I say, don't, look up stuff on your own too. I am not a doctor, or I shouldn't be giving any medical advice at all whatsoever. So, don't take anything I say as gospel.
So do you guys would you compete against someone who was on steroids? Like, if you knew, like, let's say you got offered a super fight, there was money on the line, but you knew the person was on steroids, would you still take it? Or would you say, like, that's a line I'm going to draw? Like, I'm not going to compete against people who are on steroids.
So for me, like MMA, I would not do it. I refuse. I'd say that's not going to happen. Like, because I don't want to risk, someone on steroids bashing my brain in, it's not something I want to risk. But for jiu-jitsu, it would depend how jacked they are and how big they are. If they're on like everything, and I'm like, that might be difficult to deal with, you know what I mean? Then I probably wouldn't. But if I knew that they were on it, but like they didn't seem like, insanely crazy, because I'm a pretty jacked dude myself, and but I'm still natural, but like, I'm just an athletic person. So I think some people some people lack athleticism, or don't have like the best athleticism. They can become like really good athletes, but then some people, they're great athletes, and then you give them the sauce too, and then they just it's a hard thing to deal with, right? Yeah. So yeah, what about you, Mike?
I don't compete enough to even really be in the realm of this question, but if I did, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't take a fight or a match, a jiu-jitsu match. I would never do.
But you're on TRT. What if you knew someone was on like, the tren and the mat?
I'm pretty sure I've probably rolled with people that have, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
we have.
It doesn't bother me at all. I can tap just as quick with them on gear as if they're not.
Yeah, I was rolling with someone last night that's on gear, and it wasn't an issue, because technique wins, but definitely they were very strong.
Yeah.
And it was like, they grabbed my leg. I'm like, oh, I got my leg out of here as soon as possible. They got like a death grip on it. But yeah, that's the thing too. It's because like competition's already risky as it is, especially when it comes to like leg locks, because you got guys like, what's that guy's name again? That young guy.
From 10th Planet?
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
But anyways, you got guys like him just ripping heel hooks, and then you add like, even more power to that through injection, and it's pretty scary, right? Yeah. So that's because it's not just scared to lose. It's also like, scared of getting hurt, and definitely people jacked up on that kind of stuff can hurt you more.
I got thinking about that too. If I compete in the Masters division, I don't even believe they allow heel hooks anymore for Masters. Do you know that, Joey? No.
Nope.
So if
Only
I wanted
adult.
to,
okay.
So I'd have to go down to adult if I wanted to do heel hooks when I'm 50 years old.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing the Ontario Open, but at Masters, because I don't have time to get my cardio and just physically and just get everything ready to do a 10-minute round. But Masters, is it 5 or is it 6 minutes for black belts?
6 minutes for black belt.
Yeah, that's what we roll in the gym, and that's like not crazy, but 10 minutes is a lot. But the thing is, like, I just need time and energy because like half the time I can barely keep my eyes open. I'm so tired from working all the time. So it's like, people, oh, you should compete and whatever. It's like, I just need, I need to like, like, what time do I have?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I just need to like work on myself, like my own health first and stuff like that, and get myself right, because definitely I work way too much. I feel like that's all I do. I feel like I work from like I wake up, I work, and then nighttime comes, I'm working right till I go to bed, pretty much, you know. But this month specifically is really busy, but they all are. But and then not just work, but also just like doing things around the house and spending time with the kids and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just hard to find time for yourself. I wish I had a hobby that wasn't jujitsu that I could like relax and enjoy myself. But
you could always pick up the guitar again.
Yeah, man, I love playing guitar. Like, I just wish I was a better singer, like I'm okay. Like I think I'm like a D minus, which is like not an F. Like I used to be an F. It takes time to get better, but like, I just love playing and singing, but like, I wish I was better. But
I'm at the same boat as you. I'm a solid D for a singer and maybe a C for a guitar player. But I started over the pandemic. I needed something. All the gyms, everything was shut down, right? In Canada, for the people who don't know, we were locked down pretty hard. We could get a fine if we got in our car and drove down the road and we weren't going to a pharmacy or a supermarket or anything essential, right? So I was like, what the fuck? I gotta find something to do. So learned how to play guitar during the pandemic. Sorry to be off topic.
Oh, no. I've been playing guitar since I was 13, or 12, like self-taught, and played in bands and stuff like that. Like that was my passion before I did jiu-jitsu. Like I went to school like post-secondary for audio recording. So like that's also why I'm decent at the the production of all this stuff or whatever. But my plan was to open up like a studio and stuff like that. But then I just lost passion for it all, just from like it feels like it becomes work, you just lose passion. But that hasn't happened to me for jiu-jitsu overall, but I have had like ups and downs when it comes to passion for jiu-jitsu. But feeling good lately for sure. Just just tired for sure lately.
We have somebody from our club that's going to be in the ADCC trials for Canada. The first time Canada's having trials, correct? Is in Ottawa in a couple months.
Yeah, people really
so
want
me.
It's not trials.
What is it?
It's an ADCC Open. They're not trials. You don't get a spot on the main event by winning. It's just it's basically just a regular tournament run by ADCC using the ADCC rule set.
Oh, my bad. Fair enough. Okay.
Because people keep asking me if I'm doing it, and for two reasons I'm not. One, I don't have time to get ready, and two, it's just not that big of a deal to me because it's not ADCC trials, right? It's not the trial. It's just the Open. So it's just a tournament. It's just another tournament kind of. So yeah, it's like, I'm not.
Yeah, they got me because I thought it was trials. So that's my bad.
So I guarantee these people are gonna do well in it, whatever, and then everyone's gonna think that they won the trials as if it's the same thing, but it's not. It's very different.
Yeah.
So, but that, I mean, it's smart by them to get into doing those type of tournaments too, because there is well, first of all, they make money. It gives people experience the ADCC rule set, and there's so many like subpar tournaments out there that. Not really in Canada. The value or I guess the professionalism of tournaments has gone up so much, especially with smooth comp. But back in the day, I'm not talking shit, but like Grappler's Quest and stuff like that. It was like I just heard like horror stories because like those kind of things were popular like right as I was starting and kind of right before. But I would just hear horror stories of like just spending all day there, and like they call your division like 5 to 8 hours after that it was supposed to be, and they're like it's like 10 o'clock at night they're competing and stuff like that. So I know it's not as bad now, but in the US, but I think there is still some like poorly ran tournaments. So there's definitely a market for ADCC.
Plus their brand recognition. They're known as like the best of the best, or the Olympics of grappling, right? So just having that I don't know, the stature of them, they'll winning one of their tournaments will have weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it just promotes their brand too. Like Joey, I don't know the rule set so much. Like what's the big difference between the ADCC rule set to like just a regular IBJJF No-Gi rule set?
Well, it depends. Like their rule set is slightly different too, from like the beginner divisions to the like intermediate, advanced, and pro. The big thing for the pro is like you're allowed to do heel hooks, which the IBJJF is now allowing. If you're in a submission, you are allowed to slam your way out of it. that's a little different. The point and time structure are really different. So I believe, if I'm correct, ADCC does like back control is like 3 points, mount is 3 points. The negatives for guard pulling in the overtime and the points period is a big thing in the finals. Yeah, there's just like minor differences. I don't think it's wildly dramatically different. If you have a good like IBJJF style jiu-jitsu game, it will still translate. Like the differences aren't that noticeable, but it is a cool little system. It's definitely a rule system that rewards wrestling as opposed to guard pulling. So that for a lot of people is, I guess, like enticing. Not for me with my bad knees and bad shoulder, but for some people that might be enticing.
So I think that you don't get takedown points if you take someone down and they go to turtle, but I thought that all tournaments were like that. But yeah, what's the difference there? Can you clarify?
Yeah, so there's some like in IBJJF, when you land, I have to control you on the ground, be it on your side, flat on your back. If you do go to turtle, I don't get takedown points in IBJJF either. But ADCC is really similar, where if you land like in turtle, there's no takedown points. If you're able to get back up without the person securely holding you down, there's still no points as well. I know IBJJF uses a 3-second rule, so you have to hold for 3 seconds. I'm pretty sure ADCC's is not based on time. I believe it's based on control.
Well, it makes sense to me that you wouldn't get takedown points for someone turtling because you don't have them down. Because I talked about this in my passing video, is that there's like 2 layers of defense when it comes to like your grips and your frames. So like your feet are your grips and your frames are your knees. And you know, the first layer of defense is gonna be your feet. Second layer is your knees. So like if you're standing, you know, you're fully up, right? But if you're on your knees, you still have that second layer of defense. So you're not down all the way. So it makes sense to me why you wouldn't get points for sure.
Any of you guys plan on doing any tournaments coming up ever?
No.
Or are you done with tournaments, Jordan, or MMA or anything like that?
I really want to fight MMA. This is something that really interests me because I don't know. I just, I want to be a pro. I want to say that I'm a pro MMA fighter, not because of like whatever, but more so because that's what I always wanted when I was like coming up. I wanted to fight pros. So like, I want to have that title for my own accomplishments. Right. So yeah, I want to fight MMA later in the year. And
this year.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Awesome.
Yeah, probably like late. I get a lot of offers all the time, but like the thing is, like, I also feel like I should get paid more than what they're offering me because like I think people will watch it and buy the pay-per-view if they have one. So I don't want to only fight for like $1,000 or whatever to fight, and then I don't even know. I don't even know how much I can't even remember, but I think it's $800 to fight. $800 to win is pretty standard here for like lower level pros, like when it comes to the records. So like, it's just not a lot of money for what you get, especially when you have like medical expenses, all that kind of stuff. Like I would love if someone offered me, they're like, yeah, I want Jordan Teaches Jiujitsu, a popular YouTuber. I want him to fight and I'm going to give him a lot of money. And I'd be like, let's do it. You know, even I would do bare knuckle too, which might sound crazy, but I think bare knuckle is actually better for your brain than, than wearing gloves because you can't punch as hard. Because if you punch hard, you're going to break your hand and that feels awful. So you kind of have to go a little bit lighter of the punches, not like insanely or anything, but you have to factor that in. And what bare knuckle is worse for your skin and stuff. So I definitely wouldn't want to get, split open and stuff like that. I would want to make sure that I win and I get a knockout right away or something.
But you should get a creator clash going, you against another YouTuber.
Well, yeah, because they have that, right? That's what it's called, right? Creator crash. Yeah, I would 100% do that if they paid good, though. But that's the thing. They got to pay good because I'm not taking any brain damage for like $1,000. You know what I mean? Enough. And even then, I'm gonna fight very smart. Yeah, I've got pretty good head movement and stuff like that. Like striking, I don't get hit a lot, so I'm not super worried about that because I have a style where I don't really get hit so much, and because I hate getting hit, because I hate the thought of getting brain damage. But yeah, if they offer me a lot of money, I'd be like, yeah, let's go.
Joey, what about you?
I wanted to compete more, but my shoulder is not good. When we were talking about steroids, I kind of sympathize with people. I would take any substance you could give me if it would fix this shoulder. Like if you were like, hey, this is illegal or cheating, I'll take as much as you can give me just to fix this thing. It's horrible. I took like a week and a half off from rolling. I did a light round last night with some friends in their basement on mats, like super light with like a small human being. And today, like I can't lift my arm above like my shoulder level. It's terrible. So,
Have
and
you seen a
especially with
doctor?
like, I actually have an appointment with a specialist at the end of the month, so I'm hoping that goes well. But
That's good.
yeah,
Gotta love
but
Canada, free healthcare.
yeah, woo. But
Don't get
it's
me
hard.
started.
Like, it's
Sorry,
hard.
yeah.
Like when we were talking earlier about things that, you know, make it difficult to compete. Like as someone who also makes their living from teaching, like you have the same thing. Like obviously you're not planning to get hurt, but if something happens, like it's now really difficult for me to teach a class. It's difficult for me to roll with people. It makes my whole life more difficult. And is it worth maybe winning like a $2 medal that really, like in the grand scheme of things, doesn't mean a whole lot to me? Like it's not like I've never won a tournament before. It's hard now, like being injured now and starting a gym. It's my calculus has changed a little bit on the risk reward of competing. Like if I get hurt, it can financially be a problem now. So I got to be a little more careful with that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I
Yeah.
think that that's the wise choice to you know, to take that into consideration. And sometimes people, they like will tell me they don't want to start jiu-jitsu because they don't want to get hurt because their job and stuff like that. But it's like, I have the same problem. I have the same risk. If I get hurt, it's very hard for me to teach jiu-jitsu. Like, yeah, it kind of requires me not to be hurt. So, you know, everyone works and has that problem, but I think it's especially hard doing jiu-jitsu, you know, because you need to do these movements, right? But, you know, other jobs are kind of like that too, that are more physical. But when it comes to, you know, office job, I don't think it is as much the end of the world, but definitely no one wants to get injured. And it's a lot easier in the gym to prevent injuries. But in competition, it's just they're not going to look out for your safety, nor should they really.
Yeah.
You know, this is a competition, we're trying to beat each other, you know, but like in a gym, we look out for each other's, and I'm saying it all the time. But so, yeah, you know, I kind of, I know, I do see where you're coming from there, but I do think you should take something to get quicker fixed.
So I know that you agree. I agree the same. You got to watch out for yourself at a tournament. It's on you. You have to keep yourself safe. But how do you feel about the guys that rip submissions at tournaments? Are they being dicks, or are they just trying to win? Like,
I think
there's no rule against it, right?
Yeah, I think they're being dicks because, you know, that's my personal opinion. And like, just because I wouldn't do that to somebody, you know, I'm going to pull hard on something and I'm going to, you know, get them to tap, but I'm not going to do it in such a way where it's, you know, they don't have any time at all to tap, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to crank the shit out of it. I'll crank it, but I'm not going to crank the shit out of it. I think there's like a fine line between like doing what you need to do and being a dick.
I think it's almost a gentleman's agreement, or gentlewoman, whoever's fighting, gentle person's agreement that, okay, I'm going to give you just enough time to tap. And, you know,
but I see all the time. Yeah. I see all the time people on like Reddit or whatever it is being like, no, it's like, it's whatever, right? You got to do what you got to do. And I agree to some extent, but I think that there is like an extra level you don't need to go to. You can still 100% get that win and do what you need to do. But yeah, I think there's a little extra you don't need to go to. So yeah, go ahead, Joey.
I was going to say, like, I definitely agree. But like my last tournament, one of the matches I lost, I had the guy in a heel hook, started putting the pressure on, feel 2 hard pops. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, you know, release it a little bit. And the guy yanks his leg free and keeps going. I was like, oh, shit. Like, okay, we're like, I heard your knee. I heard your ankle pop, man. Like, that's not good. But he wanted to keep going. And like, you know, looking back, if I had just kept twisting, like, I probably win that match. Definitely mess up his knee. But like, you know, it's one of those things where you're like, is it worth it for me to injure someone to try and win a medal? Like, sure, you caught the heel hook. You could blow their knee out and win the medal. Or like, if I really believe my jiu-jitsu is better, I should be able to let him go and still find a way to win.
Yeah, I agree. And funny you say that because it's a funny story that happened to me as a white belt because I had this guy in an arm bar and I heard his arm pop so many times and I let go. I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, oh, I'm fine or whatever. And then I just arm bar him like 5 seconds later because I knew I was better than him. I know I'm going to beat you anyway. So it didn't even phase me. It's like, whatever, I'm going to beat you. But like, you know, I do agree with you and I don't want my words misconstrued by anyone. I definitely think you should put in that like, you know, 100% into the submission, but not that like 110 into it. So I think that's just what I mean, because that young dude that we're talking about, again, I forget his name. Yeah. It's just so fast. The way he does it faster than other people. Like everyone wants to win. And when they have a heel hook on someone, they're going for it to get the win. But it's just that little bit of extra, just like, yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of that. But yeah, I do agree. You got to do what you got to do, because people will hold out on things, let things break. I mean, I did that once. It was someone had me ankle lock, and it popped a bunch of times, and but he didn't stop. We just went out of bounds because I was like rolling and it was popping as it was happening. But we got back up and I still won the match. But like, what if he did let go? Because he's like, oh crap, your ankle's popping, right? So that'd be kind of crappy for him, if he was being a nice dude, and then that's why I won. So I'm glad that it wasn't that. It was just that we kind of happened to go out of bounds. It wasn't my fault. It's just like I'm rolling out of this ankle lock and now we're out of bounds. Like I wasn't trying to go out of bounds.
Like John Jones, Vitor Belfort. Vitor had him in a fully locked out armbar, heard his arm pop twice and let go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Jones didn't get out of it. He let go. He said because he didn't want to injure him permanently. I don't know. In MMA,
that's the wrong mentality.
You're going for the title. I don't know if I would have let go of that.
Well, in MMA, you're trying to knock each other out, exactly. Right? But at the same time, and a great example, I think I mentioned this too. It's like when you knock someone out, that's it. It's over. But like people, they'll throw that extra punch, and it pisses me off so bad. When I see like a punch after someone's knocked out, I instantly lose respect for that person. Like, of course, maybe in the heat of the moment, you're not thinking, but like there's definitely cases where, yeah, you were thinking, like Dan Henderson versus Bisping. That was just that was like a revenge shot. And like, you just don't do that to somebody. Bisping was knocked out cold, and you're going to do one hard shot, another hard shot, like a leaping shot, and try to like break his jaw and everything like that. Like, come on, man. Like,
to add insult to injury, he used it as the silhouette of him doing that as his logo.
Yeah.
Dan Henderson's. Yeah.
I know. I think that's so awful.
It's crazy.
Because we're competitors at the end of the day. Even if you don't like the guy, we're competing against each other. We gotta have respect for each other. That like we should never try to cause like physical harm to somebody intentionally. We should try to do everything we can to win, but not. That's just extra. So that's all my point.
So I like what Zoltan said when we had him on the podcast. He said when he goes to it, it's like going to a music festival. He gets to see all his buddies. He gets to talk to all his friends. They all know each other. But when you go to a tournament, or when you did like your circuits back in the day, and I'm sure Joey was the same, you probably knew half the people there, and you could talk with them. You knew them from the last tournament and the other 10 tournaments you met them at, right?
Well, I used to try to talk to them so I feel better, so I'm not as nervous. If you build a connection with someone, you're kind of like friends a little bit with them. It takes away the nerves, as opposed to like, this guy's like not saying nothing. He's like, he looks like a dick, and I want to beat this guy so bad, right? So like, I try to intentionally like befriend people for my own nerves.
Yeah.
But also the benefit of that is that like you just meet a lot of cool people, because a lot of people are cool, and just because someone's quiet, nervous, doesn't mean that they're not nice. Because I felt like for a while people thought I wasn't nice or something when I was competing as like a blue belt or purple, or no, not purple. Like it seemed like blue belt. I got shit on the most by people, but just because I was so like nervous, and I was just a quiet guy, and like I just started in the sport, and it seemed like a lot of people want to see me lose. So, but it's nice to talk to everyone and make friends, because we all got the same interests, we got the same desires. So, but anyways. Yeah, it's been about an hour. So thank you guys for listening to the podcast. We always appreciate it. Make sure to write a comment on YouTube. We always appreciate that. And with that said, we'll see you guys next time.